Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you're watching us from. This is the Corridors podcast. If you're watching us for the very first time, this is Dante, a host on the Corridors podcast. And if you've been watching us each and every single day, you already know this is Dante. See ati nimechange jina. And today on this episode, we are having a very brilliant mind. Sorry to say, but yeah, he is one of the guys that are referred to the Raila of the union, the health union. And apparently he has fought the union, he has fought for the union, and at the same time, he has fought for the young doctors. Feel free to have conversations on this episode. Welcome, Dr. Clarence Eboso. You
Thank
can
you.
introduce
Yourself
better, man.
Thank you very much,
yeah.
Dante. Basically, my name is Dr. Eboso.
Yeah.
You've introduced me. I think a good number of doctors know the name.
Yeah.
A good number of members of the public know the name. I'm a medical doctor in Vihiga. I'm a social activist, a human rights defender.
Yeah.
I'm a very radical unionist.
Okay.
I'm a father.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
And,
congratulations.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
I am. And I'm happy to be here on the show.
And I'm happy to have you on board today.
Thank you.
We will dive into conversations, possibly conversations that matter to health, just like we've been doing before. And I appreciate that it is election times.
Yeah.
It is election times.
I should have said I'm a candidate
You're
for
a candidate,
National
right?
Secretary General of the Union.
Okay. This is the first time you're vying?
Yes, it's the first time I'm vying for national office of the KMPDU.
Okay.
But I've previously vied for, first I was chairperson of medical students.
Uh-huh.
I have I have sat in Nairobi Division,
Okay.
KMA Nairobi Division.
Uh-huh.
I have vied for Secretary KMA,
Okay.
Nairobi Division. And then, and so basically this is the first time I am vying for KMPDU national office.
KMPDU National Office.
Yeah.
Secretary General.
Yes.
Why do you think it's very important for you to go for a Secretary General seat, not the chairman, not any other seat?
Now, there are various things that go into deciding to vie for a seat and even for a particular seat. Now, in the manner in which I have been approaching these campaigns, when I started out, I set out to make a team. Okay, to come up with a team that we would be like-minded people. And I think in those negotiations and conversations, that's where one person settles on this, the rest of your team feel like this is where you fit best, and so on and so forth. So that is one of the reasons, or one of the ways in which I arrived at now going for National Secretary General. It's because we were several of us. In fact, we were like maybe 3-4 who were thinking of going for position of National Secretary. Some wanted to go for chair and so on and so forth. And when we sat down and deliberated, we arrived at various positions for various people based on suitability and based on track record. But aside from that, the National Secretary General's position, we have given it the role of being the face of the union, being the de facto internal, or rather being the de facto face of the union, and being the de facto team leader.
Okay.
Yeah. And basically the National Secretary General is the vision bearer.
The vision bearer of the union,
organization.
Or the organization.
The vision bearer of the organization.
Any organization.
Yes. And I think it naturally fitted that I would be the National Secretary General candidate, particularly on my team, because essentially I was bringing them together and telling them, look, I think we can go this direction. I think the union can achieve this, and so on and so forth. So that's essentially how we arrived at me going for National Secretary General position.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
You know, it reminds me of what is going through the country right now.
Yeah.
The fact that there's the ODM, the longest of all the parties in the country,
Okay.
the oldest of them all.
Yes.
The ODM party that has been having, previously, it had Ababu Namwamba as the Secretary General.
Yes.
Ababu Namwamba is a lawyer, right?
Yes, he's an advocate.
He's an advocate.
Yes.
And then there's Edwin Sifuna.
Edwin Sifuna is also an advocate.
Who is, okay, I may not say former per se, because there's a lot of things involved in it.
Yeah, mambo iko hapo katikati.
Mambo iko hapo katikati, bado
Yeah.
wako koti and all that. And now there's Dr. Eboso. For you,
okay. Yes.
who is also, you didn't mention in your introduction, you didn't mention
I'm a
that
jurist.
you're a jurist.
I'm very interested in law. I have been studying law. I have practiced law. I have written on many treatises on various topics in law, and so it's something that I do also as a passion. I feel like a law is one of those disciplines that all of us should be conversant with, because it encompasses very many aspects of our social life, and basically it looks like it's the social standard. It's been decided to be the social standard. So yeah, I'm also a lawyer.
I know you guys didn't know about this, right? Or rather, if you knew about this, now he's adding more into it. Now that he's going to, he's vying for the Secretary General seat on the national platform, and we wish you well. Let me mention.
Thank you.
KMPDU.
Yeah.
KMPDU is known for, its strong way of advocacy through strikes and all that.
Yeah.
What do you think about strikes? Is it still the way out to make people converse like the government, or is it really fading off? Because KMPDU has really been making fights here and there, and to some point. There are others that have gone maybe not successful. There are others that have been successful. So what do you think about the strikes and advocacy way of KMPDU in the near future, now that you're vying for this seat? Assuming tomorrow we wake up, the elections are over, and you are the new Secretary General.
Now, for a trade union, and KMPDU is to a large extent a trade union. It is many other things, which maybe we'll go into that as we go. But to a large extent, what you're asking is the role of KMPDU as a trade union, and the role of strike as an instrument. Now, as a trade union, the strike option is always the ultimate instrument that you use for negotiation. It's an ultimate instrument globally, and it is actually why trade unionism came to be. Why? Because trade unionism is about laborers. It's about labor rights. And the one thing that any laborer has over the employer, over the capitalist, is their labor. And that is why we provided for a right for the laborer to withhold their labor in order to get the capitalist to sit down and negotiate.
For them to communicate on the same lane.
Yes.
Okay.
So strike as an option and as an instrument can never not be an option for a trade union. So a trade union must continuously remain able to strike, and must continuously increase its negotiating power and its striking ability. Okay? So now, within the context of KMPDU, what does this mean? Now, KMPDU is unique as a labor organization in this sense. By and large, in the history of the growth of trade unionism, there was on one side laborers and on the other side capitalists. Okay? The tool that the capitalist used to negotiate was capital. The tool that the laborer used to negotiate was their labor. You see? And so they would meet, and one is negotiating with this and the other one is negotiating with the other. And that, the underlying presumption was that the capitalist needs money. So when the laborer withholds labor, then the capitalist will suffer because they need money.
They need money, yeah. True.
Okay? And then the laborer has their labor but also needs money. And so if the capitalist does not give the laborer money, then the laborer will also suffer. That was the philosophy behind trade unionism. Okay? But when you have a situation where the employer or the largest employer we are dealing with is government, it means government is not a capitalist. Government does not care so much about the money as it does about other things like politics. So that is the special position that KMPDU is at, where you're a trade union, but majority of your members, majority of the members for whom you negotiate, or the largest employer whom you negotiate with, does not care about money. Or may not care about money. Because there are ways you can make them care about money. There are ways you can get them to see that there is value in the money they generate or the money that we generate for them. Number two, KMPDU is a union of doctors. That is medical practitioners, dentists, and pharmacists. These are persons who provide essential services. And they are also persons who, at their upbringing in the profession, they are taught to think of money as secondary.
Very true.
You see?
Very true.
So you're essentially leading an organization who, at the heart of their profession, they have taken an oath where money will be secondary. You see? So that then makes us look at strikes very uniquely.
Very uniquely,
Okay? And we need to consider strikes as a last resort. Okay? That's number one. Number two, to ensure when we go on strike, it must be a very effective strike. That we as medical practitioners, pharmacists, and dentists cannot go on a strike willy-nilly. We cannot just wake up and decide we are going on a strike. Because there are lives to be lost. There is an oath that we took. And there are many other considerations to be made. And even then, the employer that we are dealing with is not so interested in capital.
Very
you see?
True. Absolutely, they are not interested.
And therefore, that means even the considerations that you're going to take as far as you're taking the strikes are more than what are you denying this employer. You see? So our strikes need to take place in a manner that is very effective. It has to be properly thought through and made sure that it is razor sharp, that when we go on strike, it is effective. Now, within the context of KMPDU still, I must say that over time, our striking ability or the effectiveness of our striking has been dwindling. And it's been dwindling for multiple reasons. Number one, I think I've pointed it out severally, is that we do not have vision as a union.
The vision for
we do not have what we are working for in the next 10 years. What is it that we want to achieve? Such that a strike in Marsabit today should be able to plug into the long-term vision that we have as a union. But we don't have that. We don't have where we want to be as a union in the next 10 years. So that even when we are striking on an issue now, we have a way in which that issue is plugging into that larger picture. We don't have that. That is something we can adjust very easily by just starting to have these conversations internally.
As time goes by.
Yes. And it's something internal. That is something we can adjust internally. But there is another insidious, yet malignant problem. And that is unemployment. Our union is one where you're automatically a member of the union by virtue of or you're automatically entitled to be a member of the union by virtue of your being a medical professional. That is a pharmacist, a dentist, or a medical practitioner. When we started out as a union, majority of medics were in the public sector and were employed. Even those in the private sector.
It was so easy for someone to, you know, from a certain village during the period of time they are studying, after school they are getting into employment.
So the majority were employed. And so when we were forming the union, we were forming a union where majority of these people, of professionals, medical professionals, are in the union. And therefore, our negotiations were easier, such that when you go on strike, it is very effective because you've essentially crippled everywhere. You've essentially gotten to the heart of the capitalist, in quotes.
Sure.
You see? But now, over the last 8 years, there is a problem of unemployment where you have more and more people not in the public service and not even employed in the first place. That is very problematic because the moment you down your tools, there are many, many other people ready to take up the job, whether temporarily or permanently. Because there is this unlawful behavior where employers think that when you're on strike, they can replace you. It's not possible. That's unlawful. You see. But normally, an employer can recruit services temporarily. Can recruit services temporarily during the pendency of a strike. And that is what employers have been taking advantage of for the last...
And as you continue, I will be very interested to mention on the 151 days of the Kiambu strike. That really affected the doctors. You know, when you're mentioning about unemployment, that is what is ringing in my mind. Because that was the long-serving strikes of a branch, right?
Of 2025.
2025.
Yeah, there are branches that have gone a bit longer.
Longer than that?
But, I think longer than that they've been. But yeah, it was a very long strike, a very heavy strike, a very grueling strike, and a very traumatizing strike for both the doctors and the union, particularly the branch leadership in Central Branch. But it was a strike that we really, and I'm going to say this over and over. We have to relook at ourselves and ask ourselves how effective our strikes are and how we conduct them. Okay? So it's a strike that, in my view, largely, we got a Pyrrhic victory from it. Pyrrhic being that the cost of the strike has not been compensated by what we've gotten after the strike. It hasn't. And for me, I partly feel that it is the environment that we are in because, number one, as I've told you, there are very many doctors that are unemployed. So 2 weeks into the strike, the Kiambu strike, the governor of Kiambu, or the government of Kiambu, called about 80 doctors it had previously interviewed.
They made an advert?
No. They had already shortlisted some doctors some time back. You know, the counties have this habit of advertising, conducting interviews, and then going quiet.
For sure.
So they don't hire.
And don't communicating back.
They don't communicate. They don't say anything. So that now, what I think the county did is they called persons who had applied through a previous advert. Over 100 people were hired within 3 weeks of the Kiambu strike. 100 new doctors. And before, you'd think this would be medical officers, pharmacists and dentists, general pharmacists and dentists. But no, this included consultants. Yes. It included consultants. So
did the county have conversations with the union, or they just went ahead to?
You see, we were on strike. We were on strike, and while on strike, the county said that they're recruiting. To replace the striking workers. So they got over 100. I think it's a total of 120 doctors were hired. So you can imagine there are 120 doctors just out there sitting waiting. When
plus consultants.
Yes. When KU TTRH during the national strike in 2024, the national strike we had in 2024, and KU TTRH advertised to have doctors to replace the striking workers. And very many doctors, actually a good number of the doctors in KU TTRH were hired during that time.
For sure.
You see, yes. So that and let me show you the why that makes the strike ineffective. In Kiambu, because of the 120 or so doctors that were hired during the strike, the county didn't want to negotiate.
Didn't want to have any conversation around it.
It didn't want to have any conversation around the strike issues because they felt like things are still working. You see, and you know, you can't stop someone who's jobless from taking up a job when they are offered.
Very true.
You see, especially because while they are jobless, we tend to ignore them as a union. You see?
Yeah.
So at the time when they finally are offered with a letter, then they will take it up and there's nothing you can do. So the county didn't want to negotiate. And initially the county would go to meetings and then frustrate the meetings on their own. Okay?
Yeah.
By themselves, the county officials themselves frustrate the meeting so that we don't really arrive at anything. In fact, what was happening
whole
is
planned thing.
they would agree previously.
Okay.
And then when you come for the next meeting where you're expecting to sign, they come with new demands that were not previously discussed.
Okay.
You see?
Okay.
And where it caught my attention was when I learned, this was now in September, and then I learned that from, I think, 8th of August, the county had refused to meet the doctors.
Totally.
It had said it doesn't want to meet the doctors anymore. You see?
That's absolutely insane.
Yeah. And I looked at it, I was like, no, a public officer cannot claim in the middle of an essential services worker strike that they are okay and they are not going to negotiate. You know, as a private capitalist, you can decide to do that with your company.
Overnight and choose to do what you want.
You can decide you don't want to negotiate.
Yeah.
But as a public entity, you cannot be making the decision on behalf of the public that you're not going to negotiate.
Very true, yeah.
So that's why we decided we are going to court to file a separate petition from whatever disputes were going on. A separate petition specifically compelling the county government of Kiambu to meet the union. So that's when they met, I think, in early October.
Okay.
That's when the court compelled them to meet, and they met, and that's when the strike was called off. By then, doctors had missed out on salary for 5 months.
For 5 months.
Yeah.
Was the 5
actually.
months compensated for?
Now, that's what was signed. It was meant to be compensated. But I'm fairly informed that the Kiambu doctors were only paid one of those 6 months' salary.
Only
and they
one?
were paid in December, yes. Because I think according to the agreement, what was supposed to happen is 2 months were supposed to be paid in November. 2 months were supposed to be paid in December. And then the other 2 months were supposed to be paid in the next financial year. In November, they were not paid.
Okay.
In December, they were paid 2 months, which was now salary for December and one of the 6 months.
One of the 6 months.
Yes. In January, the doctors expected they would be paid. And in fact, that December, they were not paid in December. It was actually paid in January. You see? So they were eventually paid in January. But now, with the January salary, they were expecting to be paid double again. They were not paid, they haven't been paid. Even now, the March salaries, I think the pay slips have been processed, and there is no sign of any of those arrears.
So Kiambu County, you guys need to pay doctors.
They need to pay doctors. They need to pay doctors.
Yeah, because whatever they are doing to doctors is not someone who was ready to give service.
Yeah.
Assuming, of course, they were going to strike with reasons to why they were going.
Of course. You see, the rationale behind why the employer must pay for the time when the employee was on strike, whether they are paying to the employee or they are paying to the union, why they must pay is because the strike was occasioned by a breach.
For sure.
Especially in this particular case where the strike was occasioned by a breach of a return to work formula signed in 2024, various other agreements. There had been conciliation meetings where the county had frustrated. So it was really the county government of Kiambu that was on the wrong. So doctors should not be punished for that. The union should not be punished for that. But unfortunately, the Kiambu doctors have not been paid their arrears. Even the promotions that for which these guys went on strike and which the county government of Kiambu had committed to pay, the promotions have not been effective.
No one has been promoted.
I think about very few people have been promoted. Nobody has the actual number. But from the doctors of Kiambu that I've been talking to, they say that unfortunately the people who've been promoted are the very ones who actually abandoned the strike and went back to work. So the ones who went striking are actually still not
those
promoted.
who collaborated with the county are the ones that were...
Imagine that kind of a precedent.
No. That's very wrong.
It's very unfortunate. So essentially, but maybe I've digressed, but what I'm trying to just show is that our strikes are becoming ineffective and we are being taken less seriously because of the unemployment crisis. Because they know there are options.
There are serious options. They know that there are serious options because now, if we relate it to the county conversations, you see, there are several hospitals I know that doctors are on locum doctors, you know, about over 50 doctors.
Locum has become the mainstay
Of course.
of health service delivery
Of health
in
service
Kenya.
delivery.
You see, it has become the mainstay of health service delivery in Kenya.
And what is the union doing about this?
By and large, I must say that from my perspective,
Okay.
the union has totally ignored locum and contract doctors.
Yeah.
In fact, the union totally ignores any person who is not on PNP and remitting union dues. In fact, that is actually the position. I have seen it not just at the national level, even at branch level. And it takes the efforts of the individual doctors within a particular place to be able to rally around the issue of locum doctors.
Okay.
Yes, and I'll give an example. Because these locum doctors, these contract doctors, they end up becoming the weak link when we are negotiating. So unless we have them on board somehow, unless we are able to negotiate for them too, there's no reason why they will support us.
Of course, yes.
They will continue giving all the services they can give during a strike.
Because they are getting something out of it.
Yes, and especially because they earn from that. Okay?
Yeah.
So we need innovative ways to ensure that we bring the locumers on board, we bring the contract doctors on board, and we've been able to do that quite effectively.
What is your plan? What is your plan?
In Vihiga.
In Vihiga, how has it gone?
Number one, in Vihiga, right when we were holding strikes, the last time we had a local strike in Vihiga is 2 years ago. But at that time, we sat down even with those locum doctors and came up with a strike management plan that takes care of their interest. That ensures that we will all be on strike, but they will not lose out. Because you see, when we go on strike, we end up going to negotiate that we are going to be paid arrears. But the locumers are only paid for the work that they do.
For sure.
You see?
Yeah.
So what we told them is this. As a county, when we were going on strike, because we knew the county was waiting to take us to court to stop the strike, we said we are going to offer minimum services. Okay, we are going to offer emergency services, and we are the ones who defined what those emergency services are. In fact, we as KMPDU in Vihiga, we wrote down a schedule of minimum stroke emergency services that we are going to offer. We pointed out how we are going to release the patients that are in the ward, and in what manner. And then we served it upon when we were issuing the strike notice, we served it upon the county. That way, even if the county were to rush to court with that notice, they will have a notice that has an annex to it. The judge will be able to see that there are minimum services that have been provided. Therefore, the judge will not rush to suspend the strike, as usually happens.
They'll always have a conversation around it.
Yes. Yeah. So who was this that was offering emergency services? And where were these services being offered? They were being offered in casualty. Where you come, if you're in critical condition, you're stabilized, and then you're referred. You're not admitted. Because all patients are admitted from casualty.
Yeah, for sure.
All, is it on? It's on. Yeah. All patients are admitted from casualty. And it is these very locumers that were working at casualty. So we told them, no, you go on with your emergency services. That's all you're providing. As provided that you understand that the hospital does not have doctors inside. Therefore, only the people who come and require emergency services, which by law we are mandated to give, only those ones are you going to provide, and you stabilize as you refer to Eldoret, as you refer to Kakamega,
as you refer to Kisumu.
That is what we were doing. And so locumers ended up getting paid while on strike, but they ended up ensuring that the strike was effective. Because referral is a professional decision. It's not an administrative decision. It's all part of management. Yeah, it's not management. It's not a management decision. It's a professional decision left in the hands of the professional.
For sure.
You see? So that, in my view, is one of the ways to bring them on board and guarantee them. Now, when we were negotiating, one of the challenges the locumers had was they were not being paid their locum fees on time. So that became one of the strike issues. It became one of the strike issues. And we said, if you do not pay locumers on time, we, all of us, will down our tools. Because remember, our union, as I said, one of the uniqueness of our union is that it's a union of professionals. So we also have a professional duty, not just to the patient, but to one another.
For sure.
You see, so that And I'll give you an example of one of the ways it played out when we were on strike in Vihiga. Such that we owe it as a duty to my fellow professional who's a locama to be paid his professional fees
On time.
or her professional fees on time.
Yeah.
So if they are not paid, then my profession is being indignified.
Absolutely.
And so we said, no, we will not allow you not to pay locamas on time. And we were able to deliver that for them. Okay? And I remember...
So in Vihiga it was effective?
That time, yes, it was effective.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you more things that we've done for locamas in Vihiga. Because long term, we ended up having a locum policy that defines how locums are brought on board, how locums are terminated, how locamas are paid. In fact, we told them that if they are going to put the issue of payment in the policy, it must be at board rates.
Okay.
You see, and Vihiga, by the way, we pay very close to board rates. I'll tell you about that. But I wanted to tell you something about what happened, and this showed that if we actually communicate effectively, even those doctors who are out there, provided they know you have their interests at heart, they too will support the union. When we were on strike, I think the county advertised. Okay.
The county of Vihiga.
The county government of Vihiga tried to advertise for our jobs. I think this was during the national strike. So doctors came from all the way from Kericho, wherever and whatnot. They came for interviews. When they came, they found us to Kiandamana. They found us in demos. Okay? So we talked to them and told them, no, we are demonstrating because these guys have not been paying locamas.
Yes, and you're here, you want the very same
and you want to take the same jobs. So what happened is, they went to the interviews and then they told those guys that they have heard that the doctors who are demonstrating have not been paid, therefore they are not going to take up these jobs. And you know, they all left. No single person took up those jobs. So nowadays, Vihiga is actually afraid of advertising because we told Vihiga County that if they mismanage doctors, we will tell all doctors across the country that Vihiga is a bad employer.
I think that's the very same thing that should be happening countrywide.
That is what should actually be happening. I'm very sad that yesterday I was told that there are some 9 pharmacists at Madare who earn 35,000 per month. They have contracts that say they are paid 35,000 per month.
A pharmacist?
Pharmacists, 9 of them. They are paid 35,000 per month. They are not entitled to leave. They are treated like locamas.
And then how much is other cadres earning if you pay a pharmacist 35,000?
I really don't know. I just found that extremely sad. And I think I'll go find out more details.
That is happening in Madari Hospital?
Yes, they've sent me one of them sent me the contract that they have. And I was extremely disappointed. I was extremely disappointed. It's something that we really need to look at as a union. But what I'm saying is that the union needs to do more about this unemployment problem. We need to do more. And before 2010, trade unions were for employed people. And if you look at even the Labor Relations Act, it seems to suggest that trade unions are for employed people.
Okay.
But you look at the 2010 Constitution, labor rights belong to all workers, not just employed workers. They belong to all workers. And that opens the room for us to accommodate all these locamas. Even
both the PNPs and the locamas in the same basket.
Let me tell you, I dare say that even private practitioners who are providing consultation services to various hospitals and are owed by insurance companies, even those are workers and should be covered by
the union.
You see, and these people should bring them on board, and we should bring them on board by providing products that provide products for these people or provide value for these people that makes them join the union voluntarily and want to participate in union activities.
You see, everyone should own the union.
Yes.
Everyone should own the union if you really want to be effective in everything.
Yeah.
And now that brings it back to, you see, I know the interns.
Yeah.
I think I've had conversations with the medical officer interns who are receiving the deductions for the union, right?
Yeah.
And apparently they are not in a position to vote because, you see, as much as they are the medical officer interns, and as soon as we get time, as they get to the last age or the last month of their internship, they are eventually going to join the practice. And as they join the practice, they are going to join unions as well.
Yeah.
They've been deducted money but apparently they are not given a chance to make decision in voting. How is it relatable to you, and what do you think about it for the interns?
I'll address that question in two ways.
Okay.
First, I will say it is very regrettable that interns are being deducted money. There is nowhere in our union structures and constitution where interns are supposed to be deducted money. I know this started some time back during this guy's term in office, but it is unprocedural and irregular.
So it's not like it's documented anywhere.
It's not documented anywhere. It isn't. And I found this out. I found out that interns were being deducted money last year, but one. I tried to find out why and who authorized these deductions. Because when I was an intern, I was not deducted money. I participated in the activities of the union.
Okay.
I participated in demonstrations. The union still protected my interests. But then it's like telling students to pay.
For sure.
Because we agitate for them.
This is not a license. This is not a license.
This is someone who's, number one, is not yet licensed to practice.
Yeah.
That's number one. Number two, they do not yet, like, you not only are they not yet licensed to practice, their future is not yet clear, especially now.
Exactly.
That this is someone who you should be letting them save all their money. Let them save their money for the rainy days that are coming, because we have not yet solved that problem.
As far as we all know how it is in the whole system right now.
Yeah. So for me, I do not think interns should be deducted any single coin. Yet we should still agitate for their rights. The person who said that because we are agitating for their rights, they must pay, and fail to recognize that internship right now is a very uncertain period of time for doctors, I think that was very unfair.
Very unfair.
But then I will point out another irregularity in these interns paying.
Okay.
I will charge you to look at, I will challenge you to look at the finance report that was issued by the union national leadership and signed by the chairman, the secretary general, and the treasurer.
You have it?
We don't have trustees. Yeah, I have it. I'll give it to you.
Share with
Okay?
me. Yeah.
Last year, during the annual delegates conference. Okay? There was no single coin of the money that interns pay. There wasn't. There was no single coin of the money.
It should be 3,000, right?
And you know, they are deducted 3,000. There are about 2,000 of them. That's 6 million every month.
Damn.
In a year, it translates to how much? Is it 84 million or 96? 72 million.
All being backed by 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 individuals.
It was not in those finance records. It was not there. And during the annual delegates conference, I raised the issue. I stood up. I spoke for about 15 minutes about the finance report, asking queries line by line, and asking these interns, they were never recruited through the branches. Because you read our union constitution, members are recruited through the branches. There are no members who belong to national. All members belong to a branch.
Okay.
Yeah. The branches never recruited any intern. You see, the branches never receive any money that comes from interns. Yet, as per our union constitution, 1,000 shillings of the 3,000 is supposed to go to branches.
Okay.
1,000 is supposed to go to national. The other 1,000 goes to benevolence, KOTU, and development.
So where is this 1,000 for the branches going to, if they are not recruited through branches?
They've never been recruited through branches.
So this money has never been given to any branch?
The money neither appears at the branch level, but I'm telling you, it was not appearing in the national finance report. So they were not reporting money for 3 years.
Damn.
6 million every month. You see? So when we start saying interns are paying, the branch officials recently wrote a protest letter, asking themselves, who are these people? Because we don't know them. You see?
And who are they
Where
paying
is
to?
this money? Because when the voter register came out the other day, the voter register reads 8,500 people. But the money that gets to the branches is money that is equivalent to just about 5,000 people.
Okay.
So where is Nabuire, Davji, and Mwachi taking the 6 million every month? Where are they taking it? Where have they been taking
questions to Davji? Davji, you need to answer us.
You see, so so the issue of interns being members and paying and not having a right to vote, there is more to it than meets the eye. It's not just about the fact that they pay, then they vote and whatnot. No. This is money that they are being unlawfully deducted to start with. The money is being embezzled. So the money is not even getting to the union to start with. It's being shared between MOH and
Just around there.
certain specific union officials. It's not getting to the branches. It's not getting to work for the union. It isn't. And it is not even being reported. You know, if it was being reported, and then we are saying in a reportiwa but imeandikwa lobbying, you know, those vague things that people use to clean money, to launder money. That would be different because then that's a political problem. But here is a situation where the money does not even reflect in the financial report that is tabled with the union.
That's crazy.
It doesn't reflect.
That's crazy,
They
man.
don't talk about it.
Yeah.
You see, so at the end of the day,
So,
now when it comes to the actual voting now, because that's the other thing, and I'm usually said to be a straight shooter. I sat down with my interns in Vihiga, and they'll tell you, and I asked them, do you guys want to vote? They said yes. I asked them, who do you know in the union? Because we are going to an election of the union. Who do you know? They don't know anybody else except these 5 people. I asked them, who are your branch officials? They don't know. I asked them, what do you know about the union?
Okay.
They don't
know anything.
They don't know anything about the union. Okay? I asked them, what plans do you think the union has in store
for you?
Nothing. You see? So I asked them, so do you actually think you will be doing yourself justice if you go to this election and vote?
I don't think if it's a good idea.
Yeah.
I don't think if it's a good idea because now they will be put in one corner.
Yes.
Told about the very people they know.
Yes.
And they still vote the very same people that have been embezzling them funds.
Yes. So the concern is, and that was my concern to them, that I know it feels bad in the mouth. I know it may feel like, and personally I don't usually like to be politically correct because political correctness leads to problems. In fact, one of the problems we have with why our strikes are getting ineffective is because our union leadership are more interested in PR and being politically correct
see them out
than
here.
in solving problems.
We see them out here with political...
I told you about the Kiambu, the fact that the county was not meeting doctors. The doctors never knew that. The doctors never knew that the county has refused to meet the officials. Why? Because
it was not being communicated back.
It wasn't being communicated. Because the officials want to look good. They don't want to look like they are failing. We've made everything in the union to be about victories. Everything to look like we are winning. And you see, the problem with that is we end up forgetting the real people who are suffering. The people who are not winning, who are the majority. Because we only talk about the few stories of success. So we forget about the majority who are not winning. I was shocked when Dr. Davji gave the State of the Union, the status of the Union on January 1st. And he painted a very rosy picture of wins and wins and wins and wins. Then now, in the last 1 or 2 weeks, he's going almost in every county initiating a strike because of failure in the counties.
Failure in the counties,
Yes, because doctors are not promoted, doctors are not employed. So you wonder. So this picture you were painting on 1st of January, and now Meru is on strike. Mombasa was on strike.
Just
Nairobi
the other day,
was on strike the other day. Homa Bay is on strike. Kisumu are agitating. Kajiado are calling the union to go also on strike there. Makueni, Kitui, and Machakos are calling the union. So what are these wins? You see, what are these wins?
It's not like it starts within 1 week.
Go read the message. I have saved that message because it really made me doubt whether my reasons for running are actually based on fact. Because he was painting a very rosy picture. He said 500 doctors have been employed in 2025 alone. I looked at it, I was like, Kiambu is the one that has hired the most doctors.
How many?
And it hired 120. And the 120 are the ones who were hired during the strike. There's no other county that I can hear of that hired. I called Nakuru, the branch leaders in Nakuru, to find out. Because Nakuru is also a big place.
It is.
Have they hired? No, they haven't. You see, I called Nairobi and asked Nairobi, okay, have you guys hired? They said there are people who are converted from contract to PNP in Kenyatta and in KU. Maybe those are the ones. But then they said, in fact, most of those were converted in 2024, not 2025. They said 3,000 doctors were promoted. Look at that.
3,000 is a big number.
Yes, 3,000 doctors were promoted in 2024, according to DAVG's New Year report, New Year message.
Okay.
I asked myself, there are about 6,000 doctors in the public service. So you're saying half of the doctors were promoted in 2024? Because
and yourself, you don't know any doctor that was promoted.
In 2025. Myself, the only doctors that I know were promoted in Vihiga, for instance, are two. And it's because they had come from school, they are consultants. That was a redesignation.
Do you mean amongst the 3,000 that were promoted, Vihiga only provided
Vihiga
two?
did not have any.
That's
those
crazy.
two only. So I asked Nakuru, how many did you promote? They told me they promoted 100. Okay. I asked Nairobi, how many were promoted? They told me about 200.
Okay.
So I looked at it and I was like, okay, so how do we get to this 3,000? And that's the problem. Our union is used to PR. It's used to public relations. It's used to talking about victories, okay, and exaggerating them. There's no problem with talking about victories. There's no problem with talking about the things you've achieved.
Okay.
No problem whatsoever. But when you only talk about victories and refuse to talk about failures and refuse to acknowledge the many people that have been left behind, then what we do is we ignore challenges that exist.
Okay.
So you ask yourself, if 3,000 doctors were promoted in 2025, who are these that are crying in Mombasa? Who are these that are crying in Meru? Who are these that are calling the union to go to Nakuru, to Kajiado, to Kakamega, to Bungoma? You see, who are these if 3,000 were promoted? So I think I might have lost it. So I was talking about the interns issue.
The interns
and I was saying that when I talk to my interns in Vihiga, the ones that I work with, I actually told them that I would have wanted to vote if I was in your shoes. But I can assure you, you don't know anything about these guys who are in office. You don't know. You've never attended anything to do with the union. You don't know anything about how the branch works. You don't know anything about even your branch leaders. You don't know any other doctors except the ones you're with in internship. So that if you want to vote, what you'll just be doing is you will be spoiling those votes.
You'll be spoiling the vote.
So yes, we will give you the right to vote if you want. But you also need to reflect and ask yourself, do you know enough? Yes. Do you know enough about the union to be empowered with that vote? Because that vote is very important.
Very important.
It determines whether unemployment is going to be solved in the next 5 years. It determines whether career progression is going to be solved in the next 5 years. That vote is going to determine whether strikes are going to continue being handled in the haphazard manner that they've been handled in these last 5 years. It's going to determine whether we are going to be getting wins out of the benevolence of the government or out of our strength as a union. It's going to be determined how strong the union is going to be 5 years from now. So as an intern, I told them, I want you to go and be ambassadors to your fellow interns and tell them that yes, we would like them to vote. We will give them the right to vote.
They should give you a reason to why you need to allow them to vote.
No, they don't even need to give me a reason. They just need to steer clear. They need to know that they don't know enough about the union to be able to make that critical decision. You see? And trust that the seniors, are going to make the best decision there is for them. But that does not end there. Because the reason the interns want to vote is for for their voice to be heard. What they are craving is that their voice has not been heard consistently. They are craving the fact that nobody listens to them. That is what they are craving. And so what we need is mechanisms within the union that accommodate interns' voices within the union establishment. This leadership is the same leadership that when interns, this very batch of interns, this and the previous one, when they were camping at MOH, do you remember overnight. In 2024 when they went at MOH overnight?
Overnight, yes. I remember that.
I remember the only one of this national leadership that seemed to be supporting the interns with that overnight vigil was Kahura. And it's because I remember me and him organizing to go buy mattresses somewhere. I think when we were organizing to get mattresses and duvets and whatnot. I know because I remember talking with Kahura over that, and we remember trying to mobilize funds here and there to get guys. Do you remember it is this union leadership that tried to tell them, not to demonstrate.
I remember
because
that.
they had just had a handshake with Nahumita.
Yeah.
And now they were all happy and feeling like the government is their friend. And so they were even threatening the interns. They even tried to undermine the demonstration that was to be there, where interns have planned a demonstration on their own. By the way, interns were doing this on their own.
Yeah.
Those pre-interns, they were planning this demonstration on their own.
They had
And
not
then,
been posted for a longer period of time.
And then they are planning demonstrations on their own using their own resources. And then the union issues a statement early in the morning saying that the demonstrations that were planned have been cancelled by KMPDU.
Which KMPDU?
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
Do you remember that?
I remember
and
that.
the entire country was flabbergasted. How can a union be behaving that way? You see? So, essentially, anyway, I've digressed. Some of these things I get very passionate about.
I understand. You're very passionate about the union. I'm just letting you do your thing.
So my issue with the interns voting and paying and whatnot, I've told you, the payments are irregular to start with, and then they're being embezzled. They're not even reaching the union.
Okay.
But number two, their interest in voting, the right to vote is defined in the law.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
The right to vote is defined in the law, and who can vote and who cannot vote is something that will be determined by the law. Okay? It's not a political question.
Yeah.
You see? But whether or not they should vote or they will vote is now a question, a personal and a political question.
Okay.
Do they know enough about how the union works?
Okay.
Do they know enough about the people that they are going to vote for? Because you remember, elections like these ones are primarily about people.
Of course.
They are not primarily about issues.
Of course, yeah.
They are about people, and it is upon the people to bring out the issues. You see?
Like for yourself, what do you believe in and all that? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it is the people themselves to either make the election about issues or about people.
Yeah.
But ultimately, when you go to the ballot, it is not like a referendum where you're going to vote on an issue. Here you're going to choose Davji or Eboso. You're going to choose Miskela or so-and-so. You're going to choose Maero or Mwachi.
Okay.
You're going to choose Zeituni or Nabuire.
Okay.
That is what you're going to do at that ballot.
Okay.
You see? That is essentially what you're going to do at the ballot.
Okay.
And so, issues come secondary. Interns know the issues that affect them. They know the issues that they want addressed.
Okay.
But you see, both me and both Eboso and Davji can tell interns we will address unemployment.
Yeah.
Right now, we can all say that.
Everyone will say so.
The intern doesn't know Eboso except the ones who've gone through my hands. Nobody knows Eboso.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
The interns do not know the character of Davji.
Yeah.
You see? Therefore, they will believe either of them. You understand?
Yeah.
And they will vote for, it will just be like picky, ponky.
Yeah,
and
sure.
these are 2,000 people. So imagine,
This is a big number of
imagine
people.
2,000 people participating in a decision that they are guessing. It's picky, ponky.
Yeah.
Huyu ameongea vizuri leo.
2,000 is a big number of votes.
You understand?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if the interns could get to know the track record, like what have these guys been able to do about unemployment in the last 5 years they have been in office? Because unemployment didn't start now. Unemployment has been there since
It's
2018.
been an issue that has been here for the long. And
Yes.
since 2018, you know,
Yes.
there's this conversation we are having on an episode with Dr. Don Dimbil.
Yes.
And,
Don Dimbil.
Yeah. And Dr. Elias. It happens. We were trying to get suggestions on how healthcare system would really be, work better, and how solving unemployment will be. And then he was trying to bring it up. Like, for instance, the young doctors are the ones suffering. The young medics that have gotten into practice are the ones suffering. And you know why they are suffering? It's because a doctor who was employed in 2013 doesn't realize the fact that there's a doctor who has really, been out here for 3 years, not employed. And throughout these whole 3 years, this guy has gone back to school, has studied, and the county knows nothing about, them having studied.
What you're saying is true. First, most of the current union leadership,
Okay.
most of it, in fact, an overwhelming majority, including at branch level, 80 to 85% of the union leadership, 100% of the national union leadership now, okay, are people who were employed before 2015. Okay? These are people who, number one, probably were paid for fees at undergraduate.
Of course.
Okay?
Yeah.
They benefited from help
Yeah.
at undergraduate. They finished. They were posted for internship and paid during internship. Okay? After internship, they were absorbed directly into the establishment on PNP and paid. Okay? They were released by the counties. No, by then there were no counties. Oh, well, between 20.
Between,
there were no counties. Yeah, yeah. They were released
But most of
to
them
go and
were
study.
still on national.
Yes, they were paid. They were released to go and study, and were paid for their fees during their study. They were paid a salary while they were studying. Okay, they came back. They finished. They were again redeployed, still on PNP, and are continuing to be paid up to now.
Okay.
Majority of those doctors in the union leadership right now. Yet majority of the profession now are people who graduated after 2017.
2017, yes.
That is kina mimi, kina wewe.
Yeah.
You see, people who, number one, had to struggle before they were posted for internship.
Very true.
People who, even after being posted for internship, they finished their internship and were not absorbed.
Yeah.
So they had to tarmac for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Some had to go start their own clinics. Some, and I'll give you an example. And I'll give you an example that this problem of unemployment is deeper than just the fact that we don't have jobs.
Okay.
It is actually going into the actual professional standards. In this way, I have a number of cases, not 1, not 2, not 3, about 4 cases that I'm handling at the law firm that I occasionally work at.
Okay.
Okay. And these are young doctors. In fact, all of them are younger than me. All of them graduated after 2016.
Okay.
Because I graduated in 2016 and I finished my internship in 2018.
Okay.
All of them finished after me. Okay?
Yeah.
And they've been found negligent by the medical council.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
They've been found negligent by the medical council.
Okay.
That is, they were reported to the medical council. The medical council looked at the facts and found them negligent. And for 2 of them, their license has been revoked.
Damn.
Yes. In fact, for 2 of them, their license has been revoked and they've been told to repeat the entire of internship.
A whole year of internship.
In fact, one of them,
right?
one of
Is
them,
it paid?
it's unpaid.
It's unpaid. Huh?
For one of them, the license was revoked this last October. Okay?
No.
The doctor was reported in 2018 because in 2018 when he finished internship, because he was not he did not remain within a system, an ecosystem
that was supportive enough.
That was supportive enough. Because before you would be finished internship and then you're retained in that same hospital where you've been working under consultants, there are senior MOs, other senior MOs above those ones. So you are in an ecosystem where you have support structures. Ukiingia kufanya CS na ikulemee, you have someone you're calling. Okay?
Or there's someone closer around the parking area or something like that.
Yes. I mean, that happened to me even as recently as 2021, where I had a CS and ikaenda vibaya.
Yeah. Of
and
course,
luckily,
it happens.
Luckily, there was a senior MO, and older than me by like 2-3 years, who was just around the parking, akakuja kanisaidia. You see, so that used to be there before. You used to have an ecosystem where you finish internship, and because you're still green, you're still working within an environment that is controlled. Now, this gentleman, whose name I won't disclose,
please,
finishes internship, is not absorbed. Does not get a job for in fact, he got a job, I think, after like 2 years or something. Okay, so for that period, he didn't have a job. Where does he go to work? In one of the small private hospitals in the rural private hospitals.
Those that can give him something to,
So he does a CS, one of his first 3-4 CSs. Okay? He does, the mother dies. Okay? Eventually, the family reports to the medical council in 2022. In fact, the family ended up reporting in 2022. Okay? So the matter has been ongoing at the medical council for the last 3 years. Finally, the medical council finds him negligent. Okay? So he approached us and asked us to support him, like what would be the way forward for him. I asked him to give me the record at the medical council, like what was said and whatnot. When I read through the record, you can clearly see for sure there is negligence. But it is not negligence that is just taking a laissez-faire attitude. No, it is not the kind of negligence in the English meaning of the word negligence.
Yeah.
No, that the person was negligent. This is purely inexperience.
Probably he would have tried something else, but now he didn't just have the experience to put something.
To know even,
To know, yeah.
when to call for help.
Or what to do.
You see, what to do in such a situation.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
How quickly to react. You see,
Yeah.
The nitty-gritties of certain drugs here and there that come with experience. You see?
Yeah.
So this was purely inexperience. In fact, when, because the dad talked to me, and the dad was like, you see, this is not negligence. This is inexperience. You need to, we need to argue that this is inexperience. So I told the dad that, you see, the law does not really recognize inexperience per se.
It really does.
Provided you're a professional with a license, it doesn't recognize
They
that.
believe you're ready to do anything,
Yes.
to go out
So
there and do what is
our young
stipulated.
people who are being let go from internship, they are being let go out there. We are actually putting them at risk. You see, so this gentleman has since done very many CSs that have gone well because now he's gotten experience.
For sure.
He's even been employed. He finally got a job, I think, 3 or so years later with the public sector. He is even now a resident of Koseksa. In
What?
fact, he's even a deputy med soup somewhere. You see,
That's a
but
little
his
bit
license
crazy,
has
man.
been taken away. His license has been taken away. He has to
So
redo
what is
internship.
what is his fate?
Yeah, he'll have to redo the internship. I think he's doing it right now. You see, so that's the challenge that we are
For
having.
every young doctor out
Yes,
here.
that's the challenge for every young doctor out there. So when we
And now
do not
I can
address
see
unemployment,
clearly why you're so passionate with the
yes,
union thing.
it's because these guys we have in office right now have no idea. They have no idea what we talk when we say these doctors are unemployed and they are not okay. They have no idea. These guys had everything going for them. And I'm not saying that seniors don't understand. I think I've said this before. I've not said that seniors don't understand the challenges that are there.
They surely do.
It's just that the people that we have there in office, okay, need to actually really, okay, have conceptualized this problem thoroughly. But ask yourself, have you ever seen any of these officials address the issue of unemployment with a solution in mind?
None.
You ask them what is your solution for unemployment, they will tell you President Ruto said he's going to employ 2,000 doctors.
Yeah, sure.
Is that really a plan?
It isn't a plan.
You tell them about the union needs a plan, they tell you hiyo ni kazi ya KMA. That's what they keep saying. They keep saying Dr. Eboso is a they call me a snake oil merchant, that I'm selling false promises, things that are not within the scope of the union. That's what they are saying. That this should be addressed by KMA and the Ministry of Health.
Now,
But you see, this unemployment, number one, is now an existential threat for the union. But number two, our union is a unique union.
It's one of the best unions in the country.
You see?
Yeah.
So and KMPDU is the entity that has the financial and political muscle to actually push through any of these policy processes.
Okay.
You see?
Yeah.
So unless we have people who actually understand this problem for what it is, 5 years from now, because these guys have been there for 5 years.
Yeah.
You know, that's the
They've
other
been
thing
here for
we need to
the
ask ourselves.
last 5 years.
We need to ask ourselves, Davji has been here for 5 years. Okay? What has he done as far as unemployment is concerned?
Do you think a debate is the best?
I wish there would be a debate. By the way, I wish a debate would be there. In fact, call him to come sit here and tell you what is it that the union has done as far as unemployment
I'm
is
going to
concerned.
have a conversation with Davji.
You see,
Yeah.
let him tell us.
Yeah.
And see, we don't want to hear that President Ruto said he will give us 2,000 jobs.
Yeah.
There is nothing that ties him. There is, in fact, even President Ruto needs the how.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
He needs the how. And Oluga did bring it out during the last ADC very well. He said that, look, as a union, KMPDU, you're letting us down. You're supposed to be provide leadership in policy. Assist me as the PS.
Oluga was ready to support.
Assist me to come up with a policy framework that will help you achieve your goals.
Okay.
Assist me to come up with a policy framework that will create jobs.
Okay.
Because jobs are not created from thin air.
Yeah.
Jobs are created within a policy
Within
framework.
a policy framework. Yeah.
Look at the way NMS are created almost. Are you an NMS doctor?
No.
You're not an NMS doctor,
Yeah.
but almost 200 to 300 doctors
Got jobs through NMS.
got jobs through NMS.
Yeah.
That was a policy issue.
Yeah.
It was a policy framework that was created. You see, recently, Sakaja handed over some services to the national
To the
government.
national government.
Sindio?
Yeah, we saw that.
We were not involved in that. Had we been involved and had a chance to sit there as a union, had unemployment been a big problem that we are looking to solve, we would have sought to be involved. So that can we make this policy framework,
So that
this
it may
policy
turn
arrangement?
around some of the unemployment issues.
Yes. You see, but the real cause of unemployment, and maybe I need to address it in this show, is career stagnation. That is the real reason why we are unemployed. It is not because the economy, it is not because of devolution, it is because of career stagnation.
There's a friend of mine who always calls doctors who've been practicing for the last over 5-6 years. He calls them chronic emos.
Chronic emos, yes. We have chronic emos
right?
everywhere. We have chronic emos everywhere. You see, and that's the real problem, unemployment. Because there is a certain number of doctors that Vihiga County Referral Hospital as an establishment can take up. You see, let's assume the medical council imesema a hospital like a level 4 hospital like Vihiga County Referral must have 16 medical officers. Okay? Yeah. Vihiga is a level 4 hospital.
It is, right?
It actually has over 16 medical officers. Okay? Oh. Yes. Okay. It has over 16 general practitioners. You understand? So, are we then saying that provided we get all hospitals to have the norms and standards, then we are not going to have unemployment? You see, what we need to do is ensure that Dr. Eboso, who is a medical officer in Vihiga, does not stay in Vihiga forever.
For sure.
Does not stay there as a medical officer forever. Yeah. Let him transition.
Career-wise.
You see, career-wise. Yeah. Because when Dr. Eboso transitions, that is how Dr. Anthony, my intern, is going to become an MO also.
For sure.
That is how Dr. Kibet will become a medical officer also. Okay? Yeah. That is what used to happen in those old days. Okay. There used to be career progression. You see? So we need to find a way through which the county government of Vihiga will be able to let me go after 2 years or 3 years as an MO to go and further my studies.
Go do IMED, do something else you're interested
in. Or what I have been proposing and what I feel the union needs to push for. This collegiate training program. For the years that I am there as a doctor, I am always advancing myself. As I've worked in the department of IMED for the last maybe 4 years, okay? By now, having worked under the supervision of a specialist or 2 specialists, okay? By now, I should be getting accreditation to become a specialist.
Okay.
You understand?
That's possible, right?
Yes. Yeah. That is, we have this program, the program for physicians, the program for pediatricians, the program for obs-gyn. Let them be a resident there at Vihiga. Because Vihiga is a county referral hospital, is a level 4 hospital. It has very many patient, it has patient numbers are huge. It has specialists. And you go across the entire country, there are more specialists in these public hospitals than there are medical officers. So specialists are there. Why don't we incentivize these specialists to train? So that I be trained, I become a specialist and leave. So that someone else comes and joins the
But do you think specialists have the time to train?
Yes, they do. We've just not created
do they really train?
They do. In fact, training is part of our Hippocratic oath.
Okay.
Training is part of our Hippocratic oath. And no specialist really refuses to train. We just need to incentivize. Let us create an environment. And I asked actually, when I was in Embu 3 weeks ago, I asked the doctors in theater, because I went to theater to talk to them and just ask them, tell them what my vision is and why I'm going for this, and listen to them. And I asked them, what kind of incentive would you want as a specialist for you to be able to train?
Okay.
And do you know what they told me? They told me, we don't need much. We don't need much. I mean, the peanuts will be paid at his training allowance. That's not much compared to how much these trainee residents will relieve us of the work we would have done. You see, because if you have residents training within Vihiga County Referral Hospital, okay, it means if you have an emergency in the middle of the night, the specialist will not be called. They'll not be first on call. The one who will be first on call is going to be the resident 1, then resident 2, then resident 3. You see? then resident 4. By the time you get into the specialist, ni juu hii imecomplicate.
Of course, assuming I was a resident, I mean,
Yes.
I was a specialist somewhere.
Yes.
I will train my residents to be perfect enough
Yes.
to a level where, you don't have to call me midnight.
Do you know when I joined Vihiga in 2019?
Okay.
That's when some two doctors, Dr. Ogwang and Dr. What's the name of this other? The name disappears. Okay. The two of them were so good in their various disciplines as emos. They were so good that they were the ones being called to do very technical procedures. Because they had been trained by Dr. Kavuludi, had really trained Dr. Ogwang to really be good at general surgery. The other one, what's his name? Why is the name disappearing? Oh my, Frank Okumu. Yes, Dr. Okumu.
Yeah.
Dr. Okumu was so good at gynecological procedures. Taught by Dr. Koba, that by the time
Dr. Koba.
Yes,
Yeah.
that by the time he was going to school, he was so good. In fact, I wondered why he was going to school. He could do nearly all those just for certification.
Yeah.
You see, so this is someone who, had this program been in Vihiga, he would have been certified.
For sure.
You see,
I understand,
and that's what
that
we are
now.
saying.
I get it.
Let's have these people, let's expand these programs, let's get these people certified. You see, let them transition for new people to come in. And that is why I'm pushing for career progression. I'm pushing for progress. Let us have progress. Let us not stagnate. And you see, it also happens even in the union. It also happens now in the union. Right now, all the 6 officials, national officials, are seeking to defend their seats. None of them is going for a higher seat. None of them is going for any other seat. None of them is leaving. You see, all the 5 are going
ready to
for
defend for their seat.
very same position.
Okay.
So you're telling me you want to
without all
remain
this
there
plan
for the next
the
10
doctors,
years.
yeah.
You see,
For-
you want to be... No, assume even they had a plan. You see me, assume even they did a very good job, they were very nice, and they had a good plan. In fact, by and large, I think they in terms of achieving what they could have achieved, they've done quite a good job.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
But that is not grounds to stay in one place for 10 years. Because, especially for a profession like ours, where there is changes, generational
stagnating
changes
already,
every single year. There is a new generation that comes with new challenges.
Very true.
Okay?
Yeah.
To keep the same mindset in the profession for more than 5 years is a disservice to a large part of the profession.
Absolutely.
A big disservice.
Yeah.
And now, when they stagnate at that level, you will realize, with the exception of Nairobi, okay, no other single branch officials across the country wants to dare go for any of these national seats.
Okay.
So they too are stagnating at branch.
They have to hold on because
They have to hold on because other people up there have also held on. You see, and then you're telling me you now want to bring interns on board. Where will interns get into? Where will the younger doctors get into?
They need a chance in
You see,
leadership as well.
They are not going to get into leadership
Yeah.
because you have stagnated at that level. I would have been much happier if I was vying and exchanging ideas with, say, the Secretary Central Branch or Secretary Coast or Secretary Western, that we are going now for National Secretary and we are exchanging ideas.
Let's see
But
how it
now
goes, yeah.
I'm being made to have to compete or contest with the person who's been my leader for the last 5 years.
It doesn't make sense.
You see, it's a very,
It doesn't make
in my
sense,
view,
yeah.
it's like fighting with your father now.
Yeah, true.
You understand?
Yeah.
Like, and we need to inculcate a culture of moving forwards, of moving on. You understand?
Yeah.
Like, progress to a new thing,
Yeah.
progress to something new, so that the other people can also, because that's the nature of our profession.
Okay.
We are not like teachers or like general workers in the country. You see, like Kotu, you can have Atoli there forever, but there is no difference because workers across the country, it's not really about progress. Once you're a clerical officer in an office,
Yeah.
it's just about rising through the civil service.
Yeah.
But as doctors, our careers are progression. You start off as an undergraduate student.
Yeah.
You become an intern.
Yeah.
You become a medical officer,
Medical officer.
pharmacist or dentist.
You do postgraduate,
Okay.
yeah.
In 2-3 years, you need to do a postgraduate to
Postgraduate, yeah.
specialize.
Yeah.
After 2-3 years, you want to subspecialize. And after that, you want to now go into administration and management and so on and so forth. You see, but now we have a situation where our union is asking us, and a majority, in fact, interestingly, a majority of the senior doctors, and this I will just tell them, a majority of them are actually endorsing this stagnation, and it will come to bite us.
For sure.
It will come to bite all of us.
It's already
as a
doing,
profession.
right?
So
Because
let's,
unemployment is a result of it.
So let's not encourage stagnation at any level. Let us encourage progress and career progression, and we will be well.
You're going for the national seat. I'm going to pull you to the issue that was happening to Mombasa County the previous day. I saw the national, the KMPDU national was really concerned in the issue concerning Dr. Iqbal. And, Dr. Iqbal being a CEO at the coastal region, there's less of the CEOs in these particular hospitals, the level 5s and 4s, that have been, into the medical field. Most of them utapata ni, someone else wamechukuliwa pale nje. Because of so many things we all know, depending with how do you know who is the county CEC and all that, vitu kama hizo. And now it brings it back to, there was a strike relatable to Dr. Iqbal, and in the coast, Mombasa as a county itself, they achieved within a shortest period of time, they achieved all the return to work formula requests that they are having and all that. In Nairobi branch is one of the most famous branches, right? But, Nairobi branch has been striking or demonstrating for the longest period of time. But the return to work formula is not really giving the best as it happened for Mombasa. Everything Mombasa was asking for are meant to understand that they received. And the KMPDU was involved in the same. What do you think you're going to bring on board to help, such situations?
To help situations like the Mombasa one?
Like the Mombasa one.
Okay. Now, the Mombasa situation was quite unfortunate. I've found out that this was a purely professional matter.
Okay.
It had nothing to do with administration. But politically, the politicians actually had wanted to get CEO out, get rid of Daktari out for a while.
Okay. For a while.
Yeah, I think they hadn't gotten a reason, but they had wanted to. I'm told locally, the local people are feeling like Coast General has become expensive, under the leadership of the CEO. Of course, those are subjective issues and here and there and whatnot.
Okay.
But the issue that had happened was not a political issue. It was not an issue that needed to be addressed politically. It was purely a professional issue.
Okay.
Where a patient comes, they have a bleed, an intracranial bleed.
Yeah.
Subarachnoid. Yeah, I think it was subarachnoid or something.
Yeah.
They needed clipping. Okay. The clips were not available. They were beyond, buying them from outside was beyond the financial reach of the patient.
Okay.
And so the neurosurgeon, said there was no need to go intra-op if there are no clips.
Okay.
You see?
Because that's all you need.
And so when the CEO was told that, that's what he told the relatives, that as far as the procedure is concerned, we may not go in because we do not have this and this and that. So now they made him a scapegoat.
Okay.
When the patient eventually died,
Okay.
that he's the one who refused them to go to theater. And you see, that's a technical issue. That's not a political issue. That's a professional question.
It is.
Whether or not which approach, clinical approach or which surgical approach one is going to take is a professional decision.
True.
So they decided to interdict Kandwala, and maybe that is where they went wrong. I usually say, where we have these political positions, okay, let's be clear that this is a political position. Okay, let's not hide behind, we are having the public service board hire you, and then but you know very well this is a political position.
Yeah, for sure.
You see, if you want to make the position of CEO of a hospital to be a political position,
Make it a political
Don't
position.
hide behind these procedures and whatnot, and then now you use funny things as scapegoats. Because if it is a professional position, then use the professional processes.
Yeah.
You see, if it is a political position, use the political processes. But these guys in Mombasa have it in the middle. They want to be happy to be in the middle. You see, and that is where they go wrong. So they decide they want to have the CEO be a political position, but without listing it as a political position.
Okay.
So they want to interdict a professional through a political process.
Okay.
No, that is not possible. We can't allow.
Nice.
And this, the governor of Vihiga tried this. You know, the funny thing.
It's relatable, right?
Yes. You know, sometimes people tell me that, you've not been serving where, so you don't know these things. You don't know. I think Vihiga has been. I think because Vihiga doctors, we are very belligerent. Actually, nearly all of us, particularly the MOs. I think we were traumatized so much in the earlier days of MOship that we developed a very thick skin and we became very aggressive.
Okay.
As almost all of us in Vihiga. So I think we really tend to really push the county to its limits. And so even in Vihiga, we had a similar situation where the governor of Vihiga tried to politically fire the medical superintendent and the county director of health. Yeah.
How did it go?
Hiyo Vihiga haikukuwa inakalika. Yeah, that office of his became too hot.
Okay.
For almost a week, it became too hot. In fact, this was during the national strike in 2024.
In 2024, yeah,
yes.
I remember that.
In 2024, during the national strike. Now, because I told you in Vihiga, we have a way in which we do our strikes. We have a strike management committee. That even during the national strike, we were coordinating our own strike issues on the ground and doing our own strike thing, pursuing our own strike things on the ground, in partnership even with the other cadres and whatnot. So the political leadership felt that because they wanted the county director to write show cause letters to us, to the striking doctors, and because the chief officer, I think, wrote show cause letters to the nurses and the other cadres, I think they were also on strike. Okay? Now, the chief officer tends to fear doctors in Vihiga. In Vihiga tumeterrorize hiyo county sana. So chief officer hakutaka kuguza madaktari because she's not a doctor herself.
She's not a doctor.
Yes, so I think she usually really fears. She used to really mistreat doctors and we really showed her fire. So she didn't like to touch doctors. So they decided they wanted Dr. Induswe, the CDH, the county director of health, to be the one to write us show cause letters. Him and the med sup then Dr. Zimbulu. Okay? So when they refused and said they are not the authorized officers to do that, besides, they told them, this strike of theirs, the courts have protected it. You see? So these guys, the politicians, Kina governor, started thinking that these guys are supporting the strike, or they are inciting us to be on strike, or they are supporting us to continue on strike, which was not true, by the way. It wasn't true at all. In fact, they were actually trying to show us that, look, Vihiga, you've achieved most of the things that guys are going on strike for, and which is true, by the way. The truth is that, in fact, in that strike, we went on strike, but we really betrayed our governor. Because,
for real?
Yes, because we had just come from another strike where we had gotten all the MOs converted to PNP. We had gotten consultants were being redesignated. We had gotten almost
for the unity part of it.
Yes, but we joined the strike out of solidarity. So they were actually trying to tell us, look, you guys, we had just started the process of sorting this out and whatnot. But now the politicians didn't care about that. They wanted them out. So the governor issues a press statement. Just before actually the national strike was called off, the governor issues a press statement saying that they have suspended Induswe and Zimbulu. Kuku Kalika. We started demonstrations, daily demonstrations at the governor's office. And we roped in all the other workers, were nurses, nini na nini. We roped in even other county government workers because we usually support them as KMPDU. We also support them when they have their issues now and then. You see, so we even roped them in. Hakukwa kuna kalika. Go check. After our strike was called off, about a week or two later, our governor issued a press conference. The only governor who issued a press conference in relation to the doctors with relation to that strike, that national strike. He had to retract himself. He had to retract and say all disciplinary action that had been instituted against the two officers had to be withdrawn. You see, because we told him the governor has no authority. Only the Public Service Board has authority over these individuals. And it has to follow the due procedure. It has to give a show cause.
There's a procedure to it.
Yes. We said that. And we said we cannot allow. So it was retracted. Eventually, unfortunately, these politicians, I believe it's them. I'm certain that these politicians decided to go ahead and assault one of the doctors much later, unfortunately.
Sorry
but
for that.
but yes, but what I'm saying is that the case in Mombasa is not unique. Okay, and for sure. How the Mombasa doctors reacted, that is exactly
That was a
how the
perfect way. I was
reaction
looking
should
at
have
them
been.
and I was like,
Yes,
that was a
that
perfect
is
way of
you
defending them.
you cannot use political processes to try and do disciplinary
Try
processes
to silence some
that
people
are professional.
having conversation on
No.
professional
Yeah.
matters.
So ultimately, I think that was the right response, both by the doctors and by the union. Now, you asked about the issue of the strikes and how they have delivered, or rather, the strike in Mombasa has delivered so much for the doctors, and yet the one in Nairobi delivered nearly nothing.
Yeah.
Now, first we have to remember context. First, we are in an election period. Okay? So, number one, the national union officials are campaigning. Whatever they may want to say at we are working and whatnot, they're campaigning. There is nothing to excuse the fact that for the last 5 years, you have never stepped in Nyeri, you have never stepped in Kiambu. Until this strike ya Kiambu, that was the first time Davji had stepped in Kiambu.
They had never gone to have
He had never been
conversations with these
Kiambu.
guys.
He had never been there. He has never been in Nyeri. He has never been in Muranga. He has never been in Nyandarua.
Okay.
He had never been to many of these places that they are going to right now. Okay? But suddenly, they've become clever. Suddenly, these problems can be solved. You see,
Now that's
because
crazy.
they've gone to Mombasa, they've gotten a very nice agreement. I hope it's implemented.
Okay.
Because, the problem is that we usually get these promises a lot.
Yeah, true,
okay?
true.
I really hope it be implemented. Okay?
Yeah.
They've gone to Meru. Okay? Again, very nice document has been signed. They are going to Homa Bay on Friday. I think they are going to Bungoma on Saturday. And they've been to various other places.
They have
Documents
itinerary,
are
right?
just being signed. Documents are just being signed. You ask yourself, so where were you these last 5 years? Because the promotions in
They're having
Meru,
an itinerary for 1 week.
yes, because in Meru, these doctors, because I was in Meru, these doctors who now the county has committed to promote, okay, these doctors have not been promoted, some of them for 7 years. So where have they been for the last 7 years?
Yeah. Okay,
That
assuming
they
they
would
were not
call
in office now,
that
they've been in office for
5
5
years. Yes.
Yeah.
Where have they been for 5 years? Okay.
Yeah.
These Mombasa promotions. Okay. By Mombasa, there are very many people that are due for promotions.
Yeah.
Very many. Okay. I think 15 are the ones who've been given letters. The rest have been given promises that they're going to be given. But these people have not been promoted for the last 6 years. Where has the union been?
Okay.
Okay, this Homa Bay, I was there when the Homa
questions
Bay
are
strike was
valid,
being launched.
Yeah.
I was there when the Homa Bay strike was getting launched. Okay, there's a doctor there who has not been paid his arrears. That is, kuna wakati salary yake ilisimamishwa tu hivyo tu, alafu tena ikaanzishwa, and then he was never paid the back pay. Okay, someone is owed close to, I think it's 2.1 million for the last 3 years, 4 years. Where has the union been?
But how do these guys have to, explain this?
You see, in Bungoma until recently, last year. Let me not talk about Bungoma. Bungoma have done quite well. These guys that I'm telling you in Mathare.
In Mathare, yeah.
These 9 pharmacists who are earning 35,000. Where has the union been?
And these questions need to be put out here to the union.
So when I see this political, sudden political activity, okay, I ask myself, it's one of two things. Either you could do these things earlier, you just refused because you wanted to use it for politics, or whatever you're doing right now is a choreography.
Or you just notice that, Dr. Eboso is out here and is going to hit us so hard. So apparently...
Maybe, but see, because for me, it's just two things.
Yeah.
Forget even about Dr. Eboso.
Yeah.
For me, it's two things. Either this whole thing is a charade that is just meant to win votes, you see, but with no intention to actually implement. Because let me not lie to you, the governor for Mombasa is a bosom buddy with Mwachi and Davji. They are friends. They drink together. They hang out together.
Yeah.
You see, so these things are not new. You understand? They're not new. So this either is a choreography where they are all playing all of us, that wanakaa wanaongea wanasema acha tukubali kusign, but when it comes to implementation tutajua uko mbele. You understand? Or it's either they could have attained these things but they were refusing. You see, and I'll talk about Nairobi because I've interacted quite significantly with Nairobi doctors and with the Nairobi union establishment for a while now. Nairobi, I interacted with them first during the NMS.
The NMS period,
The NMS period, because I was very close. I was one of the first people to tell them, look, I want you guys to write a request to the county for you to be converted. You'll not just be converted by a titu mlisema mkonvertiwe. There needs to be a paper trail showing that these people, ultimately you can make a political decision, but the technocrats still have to go through the process
the
to make it legal.
And all that to make it legal.
So I told them we need to start by apply. Let all of you apply to be converted to PNP. You see, that way, if they refuse to convert you, we can even go to court and question why are you choosing to employ new people, yet we've been working and we've applied to be translated and the law allows you to translate. So that's the time when I worked most with them. And then I think when they were litigating, I also supported their litigation all the way to the Court of Appeal. Up to the time when the letters were issued, that's when we withdrew the matter from the Court of Appeal.
Nice.
I have interacted with the officials lately. And one of the systemic problems with our union in the last 5 years is that the national office has weakened branch offices and made them to be subservient to them. Literally, no branch can do anything without authorization from DAVG's office.
From the DAVG's office.
You see? And that is why you see almost everything, every win is announced by DAVG. You see? Because you cannot move, you cannot do, if you try to do that, they threaten you with a disciplinary process. You understand? Yes, they threaten that they're going to do a disciplinary process against you. So branch officials are scared hell. You see, they are thoroughly scared of doing anything without consulting DAVG. So it's almost like the union has to be run centrally, despite the branches. Now, I'm still going to explain something, okay? There are two branches specifically that have resisted that control. One of them is Nairobi, and another is North Rift. And the consequence to that has been that they are denied funds. The funds ikikuja, we pay, when we pay it goes to national. Nairobi hawapatiwi whatever is required of them. When support is needed from the national union, like legal support, any kind of support, it's frustrated. Even if it will eventually be given, it will be given after a lot of frustration. You see? So there's not been a cordial working relationship between the national and the branch at Nairobi and North Rift. You understand? Those two branches specifically. So that is why you saw, even during the Nairobi strike, the national union was hoping that the strike will fail. So that Kina Maero can learn a lesson. You understand? It's not that Kina Maero did not want them to come and join. After all, si Kenyatta, Kina Maero called them to come and launch those things. Like when their guys are being translated from this to this, when there are wins, these victories that I'm telling you, that those are the things that DAVG likes. They are the only things he wants. So when there is a Nairobi branch has now negotiated and concluded the negotiations, that's when he comes. Then he says, this is what the union has achieved. Meanwhile, he was frustrating them. You understand?
I get it.
That's the problem. Unaona? So that's really the problem that we have as far as Nairobi is concerned. And that is why this strike failed. Because let me tell you, Governor Sakaja is bosom buddies with DAVG. Governor Sakaja, they are very good friends with DAVG. They talk on a daily. You understand? So there is no reason whatsoever why the Nairobi strike ended that way, except that DAVG was being vindictive to these guys, to the Nairobi guys. And you'll find that on the national team, it's only guys from Nairobi and North Rift that are willing to actually go for this national seat.
I think there's Maero is going for a national seat.
Yes, Wendy is going for a national seat. Darwin was to go for a national seat. What's his name? Kamonzi May go for a national seat. Zaituni is going for a national seat. You
Okay.
see? So it's only those two branches that have had the guts to stand up to the national
Now
leadership.
it's explained why.
You see, so when you see ukiangalia unaona none of the other branches, I'll tell you, go to Central. There is someone there who wants to go for a national seat. She's finding it very difficult, very, very difficult.
Okay.
Yeah, because the rest of her branch leadership is telling her not to. Why? Because they are all in Davji's pocket.
Yeah, for sure. Davji is trying to put.
Yes, only one or two are willing to stand up.
Okay.
Unaona? Yeah, I won't name names, but that's what it is. And it's across the entire... sit down with some of the... In fact, call some of these branch officials.
Yeah.
Call them to the seat. Let them also
we wanted
explain
to have
you.
conversation with Maero.
Maybe don't call Maero. Don't call Maero because Maero will tell you the same thing I'm telling you.
Okay.
Call Bill. Call Ngugi from Central.
Yeah.
Call Omondi from South Rift.
Okay.
Call Orwenyo from Nyanza.
Yeah.
Okay. Call Nick from Coast. Call them and let them just be candid. They'll tell you we don't have a union. The union has been captured.
We are going to have
It's
this
been
conversation.
captured. National branches have been captured. The organs of union, and now they want to capture even the election now.
On the election side, I was gonna ask you.
don't
You know,
capture members now.
I see my director giving me, you know,
those signs that time
and stuff. Yeah. But I was this session wouldn't have ended without asking about you know, the irregularities. You know, we're going into an election. Anytime we're having an election, we have to ask about irregularities and what happens after the elections. What do you think? Are you comfortable enough getting into this election with the current, you know, is it IBC or how do we call it?
IEC.
IEC, right?
Yes.
IEC.
Let me tell you, Dante, I cannot go into an election that is being controlled by my opponent.
Okay.
That cannot happen.
Okay.
You see, and that is what they are doing.
Uh-huh.
Last year during the ADC, I rose up and moved a motion. Okay. The motion was, we had very divisive elections in 2021. It was because we were not well prepared. I want us to vote at this ADC that we elect an independent electoral committee now, because we are going to have elections next year,
going to have one.
so that they start preparing. Okay. That motion was frustrated by Mwachi and Davji. Okay. They made sure they mismanaged the meeting so that we couldn't make a resolution on that.
Okay.
But Davji said this, and anybody who went to that ADC, any doctor who has someone who went to that ADC should ask them what Davji said.
Okay.
Davji said that elections are usually announced by the registrar of trade unions. When the registrar announces, the union has enough resources and time to set up an SDC to elect an IEC when the time comes.
Anytime.
Yes. That is what made me sit down and say it's okay. If that's the situation, then that's okay.
So anytime means,
you see,
means as soon as possible.
It means that there should have been an SDC.
There should have been.
You understand?
Yeah.
But now, this year, first of all, in September, the registrar gave the notice for elections. Okay? He gave the notice in September. Davji hid that notice. He never told NEC. He never told NAC. I know because...
For sure.
Yes. I know because when I went to Homa Bay for the funeral in late October, okay, I made a point of talking to each and every single member of NEC who was there.
Yeah.
And I have been talking to the NAC people. Okay?
Yeah.
And they kept saying, no, we've not been told anything about elections. You see? So there were no even plans by October, end of October, to have
an election.
Yes. But then they told me there is a NEC meeting that is supposed to happen in, was it November or December?
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So I said, okay, fine, let's hope it's going to be brought up. It was not brought up in the NEC meeting. It was not brought up in the NAC meeting.
When was it brought up? Has it?
It has never been brought up. It is only during the State of the Union address the other day that it was first brought up to members and to even the officials of the union that the registrar announced their elections in April, and the IEC, the old IEC that did the elections in 2021 is the one that will do it again.
That doesn't make any sense.
So a decision is being made by Davji, Nabuire, Miskela, Mwachi, and Kahura on who will hold the election, and they themselves are participating in that elections. They've even made a decision on how the election will be funded. Unaona? What kind of election is going to be, the schedule of election, And even the register of elections are the ones who have populated it.
And they've given registrar. You said registrar is the one that gave the timings of the elections.
No, the registrar only said you must do your elections
Yeah.
by April.
By April.
By end of April, by
Okay,
May.
okay.
Yes. You understand?
Yeah.
But every other thing is being done by this cahoots. You see? So, that kind of
It's
an election,
messy.
however much we try to be nice,
Yeah.
however much we try to be polite, we cannot. This is like BBI.
Yeah.
You know, when Raila and Uhuru were busy walking around, going around the country, splashing money and bribing MCAs to pass it, celebrate that, 40 sijui ngapi out of how many have passed and whatnot. But something that is null and void is null
You
and
are
void.
seated somewhere
Ab
in
initio.
your house trying to, script something.
Yes, that time. Yes. So this election is what I called during BBI is what I called this is a fibroid.
Okay.
Yeah. This is not even it's not a dead baby. It's not even a deformed baby.
Okay.
This is a fibroid. You understand?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is not going to go anywhere. And you cannot fool doctors. You see, 2 of those IEC members. First, our union constitution says IEC should have 5 members.
Okay.
There are only 4. Why? Because Dr. Evelyn Chege resigned as soon as the last election ended.
Okay.
Because she understood that an IEC is not a standing committee.
Okay.
It's a special committee.
It's a special committee.
Okay? But forget about that.
Yeah.
There are only 4. So already it's not properly constituted. Number 2, it's supposed to be independent. Go and look the emails you were sent when these guys were trying to change the constitution so that they take away you guys from voting. It's just the registrar stopped them when he gave the notice of election. Yendo aliwasimamisha. Otherwise they wanted to change the constitution to prevent all of you from voting.
Okay.
So that ikue a delegate system. You know, KMPDU is the only one of the only 2 unions that still have their own members voting directly. You see, walitaka ikue kama kotu. Yenye hautaitoa mtu. Once it's a delegate system, huwezi toa mtu. Because they control the delegates. So, our constitution says that there should be 4. And it says that, so now go check that constitution review committee who was signing there. The person who was signing as a chair of legal affairs and constitution review committee. See, it is Mokaya Mounde, the one who's now going to be the chairman of the IC, the one who's the chairman of IC. So someone who's been working and being paid by Davji for the last 5 years is the one now being said is the one to run the Independent Electoral Committee. Go and check who one of the people who's been members, I think even he's been chair of the publicity committee or communications committee. See, is Dr. Nyamunyamu, the one who's there as the vice chair.
Okay.
Yes. Go and check Dr. Ombui. Dr. Ombui has not even been participating in union activities for the last 3 or so years. He's in private practice. He's a senior colleague kabisa. Hata aliachana mambo ya union kitambo sana. He was just called and told that doctors wamesema wanataka mrudie tena nyinyi. He even asked them. Have the processes been followed? They told him yes. So he said, anyway, kama madaktari wamesema ni sawa. You see, because him is not even involved in this union matters at all. You see, him is just doing it more as service to the union because ameambiwa. So we don't have an independent committee and it is not properly constituted and we didn't even have an SDC in order to ratify this. So these people have captured the other organs of the union. Now they want to capture even the members' voice. And the union belongs to members. That is why I'm saying, let us have AGMs, SGMs across. You know, SGMs don't require money. We have a crop of leadership, both at branch and at national, who think KMPDU was founded along money. Okay? Yeah. They think KMPDU was founded because of money.
Because of money.
And that money takes center stage in KMPDU. Yeah. No. The people who went atufungamano and met in various kamkunjis across the country to form the union. They were not funded. They were using their own money. They were sacrificing. Some of them were pulling into vehicles all the way to Nairobi. Consultants were paying for junior doctors to come fair, to wakuje Nairobi and accommodation, to come and meet at a delegates conference. They never needed money to come from sijui where. No.
Which makes sense.
When delegates conference were being called to impeach some of
was all
the
a
officials,
sacrifice, huh?
yes, to impeach officials,
Yeah.
these were not delegates conferences that were called by the officials. No officials will call a conference that's coming to impeach them.
Yeah.
Unaona?
Okay.
These conferences were purely called by members themselves. They meet at Kamkunjis. They decide that they want a delegates conference because they are dissatisfied.
Yeah.
They go to Nairobi at Ufungamano, where they pay maybe 1,000 bob to use the hall. They meet and they make a decision. Saa hizi ati branch officials wanasema hawezi hold branch AGMs because national imekatalia pesa. Because for sure kina Davji wali make one of the decisions they made unilaterally with regard to elections is that they will withhold the 2 months or 3 months withholding of money from branches, because all the money is going to elections. Do you know how much money that is?
It's a lot of money, right?
7,000. Assume, let's use 7,000, although only 85-35 according to their member registers. You know, use 7,000 times 3,000. That's how much? That's 21 million. Okay, times 2 or 3 months. That's 42 million or 66 million. Yes. Ati hiyo ndo pesa inaenda kwa election.
Yeah.
Unaona? What the hell is that? Mchezo wa town. Unaona? And it's because 90% of members just don't know these things, or they don't exert their minds to these things. Au bora tu mambo inafanyika sawa kwa sawa. Unaona? So what I was saying is that let members meet in the various AGMs, in the various ninis. Let them decide in those AGMs what they want, how they want this election to be run. You understand?
Yeah.
Once members decide at those AGMs, let them elect delegates.
Okay.
Unaona? Yeah, twende ufungamano. Twende ufungamano, we choose an IEC that will run the election properly.
Okay.
Yeah. But me, I'm telling you, unless these guys call an SDC, a properly convened SDC, where we go and we elect a properly constituted IEC that is independent, I cannot participate in a sham. We participated in a sham twice in 2021 and 2022, and then we just let it go. And then hapana, hatuwezi shinda tumebebwa hivyo. You see, hatuwezi shinda tumebebwa.
It's well communicated to the team. IEC needs to be there.
Yeah, IEC must be constituted properly. IEC. No, those guys are not independent. They cannot run another election. They can't. You see, they cannot run another election. Look, register, wanatupatia register yenye there are about 2,000 people who we don't know who they are as members or as contestants. Wale tu watu wanawajua ni hao. They are the only ones who know the back end. But then you'll be surprised. There are some emails. You see, these guys pretend, and I keep telling them they are actors. Wanna act skit. And I want members to take note. Some of the emails they have written to IEC. See, IEC lipeana email yao. IEC at nini Gmail. Sindio? Have actually been responded through the nini channel. The NEC email.
The NEC email.
Yes.
So already the IEC email and NEC email ziko hapa mbili.
Ziko kwa simu moja.
Ziko kwa simu moja. Yeah, I see that.
Those ziko kwa simu moja, unatumiwa, unadhani unajibu na hiyo email kama unajibu na hiyo ingine. We have all that. Unaona? That I sent an email to IEC and then it was responded using the NEC official email.
Okay.
How?
Doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. So hakuna IEC hapa, hata I suspect huyo Muunde tu yuko as a figurehead. He is there but as a figurehead. Okay. Easy decisions zinatengenezwa na Davji. And you see, this is why the other branch people are fearing, because ni kama kila mtu resign to this election will be rigged. But me, I am telling you, I cannot be rigged out. I am telling you, I cannot be rigged out.
I wish you well. I cannot be rigged out.
I cannot be rigged out. That is why I'm still campaigning. I'm still campaigning because I know these guys can't rig me out. They can't. Unaona? An election will have to be done properly. Unaona? And it will be done properly and nobody will be rigged out.
Nobody will be rigged out.
Yes. That is what is just going to happen. So branch officials are afraid because everybody believes they'll be rigged out. So if they associate with Dr. Eboso's team, they are afraid Davji is going to rig them out. The other day, just because I think the branch secretary wa Kisii alini host when I went to talk to Kisii doctors, because they welcome me. Imagine they've told all these branch officials. My own friend, my own best friend is a branch secretary hapa Central. Ameshindwa kuni host.
Their eyes are everywhere.
Yes, ameshindwa kuni host because they watamfinya. Unaona?
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, because watamfinya. Like he's totally been unable kabisa. Hata kunieka kwa group zao. He is an admin on their WhatsApp groups. Ameshindwa kunieka. I've been telling him since November. He is afraid. Why? Wanawafinya. Unaona?
Yeah.
So the Kisii, the Nyanza secretary, the Nyanza secretary agreed to host me. And in fact, he didn't even do much because he wasn't even my supporter.
Yeah.
But because he heard that I'm coming to Homa Bay, and then Homa Bay is next to Kisii, he told me, it's okay, you can come to Kisii and talk to doctors. Unaona?
Yeah.
He wasn't even there when I was talking to doctors.
Okay.
Unaona?
Yeah.
He just gave me a few numbers of people to call who will assist me on ground. You see? And then he hosted me. I actually slept at his house.
Okay.
You see?
Yeah.
Just because of that, they even tried to pay a certain lady from Kisii. She's not even been a member in the first place. They pay her 20,000. Atengeneze poster na nini asijui avae against Orwenyo. You see?
And she's not been into.
She's not even been. They paid for her.
Uh-huh.
They paid for her. She's not paid up at the branch. They paid for her from national or something. Unaona?
Yeah.
Just so that she can run against this guy because this guy has hosted me. So that's what all these secretaries are afraid. And so when I see the few people who are willing to stand up and actually they're willing to stand up and actually even oppose them, I really feel proud. And I feel like if we can put the union in their hands, even if you don't vote for me, by the way, vote for Maero.
Okay.
Even if you don't vote for me, vote for Zaituni.
Okay.
Vote for Wendy. You understand?
Yeah.
Vote for Darwin. Unanipata? Yeah. Vote for Ondari Bosibori. Even if you're not going to vote for me, because they have the vision also. That's number one. And number two, they're willing to stand up.
True.
Because that's what you need to be. They're willing to stand up.
Yeah.
And you've not asked me how I got to meet Kina Maero, and I think that should be the last thing I talk.
Oh, okay, fine.
That should be the last thing I say, because I need to tell you why did I pick on Maero and decided I'm going to talk to him and trying to make that team. How did I arrive at Zaituni? How did I arrive at Darwin? And how did you
guys
find ourselves together?
Yourselves together.
Okay? Maero, I had interacted with him very briefly during the NMS case, Madaktari. And at that time, in fact, we were on opposite sides. He was asking me to withdraw the case because Sakaja has promised he will give these guys letters.
Okay.
Both him and Kinadavji were telling me to withdraw the case so that to show goodwill that because Sakaja has promised. I told them I'm not withdrawing. Let him give these 4 people that are filed for, let him give them their letters then and then minute up. No. That's what I told them. I told them, give these 4 people letters first, then we will withdraw. There is no problem.
Okay.
You see, give them first, then we will withdraw. Because you can't be saying on one side of the mouth that we will give them letters. On the other side of the mouth, you have already given letters to new people. And your staff establishment haujai expand. Unanipata? So I knew ni mchezo wa town Sakaja alikuwa anacheza. And of course these guys, I think
that's how you met Maero, eh?
No, that was the interaction we had at the time, okay? But we never interacted much after that. You know, that was 2023 or 2024, thereabouts. We never interacted much. When we went to the ADC in Mombasa, okay, we asked very pertinent questions involving the treasury, the accounts. And then we started asking about the fact that we don't have trustees. We need to elect trustees. Kinadavji didn't want that. We asked about the office of the deputy treasurer. Why was the deputy treasurer fired? How come she's not here? How come she's not been here for the last 2 or 3 years? Why has she sued the union for non-payment? What was going on with the deputy treasurer? They didn't want those questions. We asked them. We asked, we want to replace the deputy treasurer. They refused. Okay? We asked about IEC, they didn't want. So during that discussion, they didn't want me, Bosibori, and Darwin to speak. And I think Mkuche and someone else. You see, Mkuche is also, by the way, part of our team.
Nice.
They didn't want them to speak. You see? Okay? And so I think they went and met and agreed they'll give everybody the microphone. Now wakoe wakituruka mimi na Darwin on any issue. And then because Maero was one of the ones moving the microphone, sindio, he made sure we spoke. And I think he stood up and outrightly just told them what they're doing is nonsense. And I think that really is what made me feel like, okay, here there might be the right person. There might be someone. So now I started talking to him now when I was going around. I called him and told him, look, this is my vision for the union. I've not yet decided what I'm vying for. I think I would want you on my team. We can talk later on what you'll go for, what I'll go for, but I'd like you to be part of that team. Zaituni. Zaituni, her name was given by multiple people. When I spoke to Mwachonda, he gave me Zaituni's name. When I spoke to, let me just say various people. Okay.
Yeah.
In fact, I shouldn't have even mentioned the name. I think it slipped out.
Okay.
But I spoke to various people, and when I talked of integrity, people told me, "Have you talked to Zaituni? Have you interacted with her?" I had never interacted with her.
Okay.
Yeah, never. So when I called Darwin and asked Darwin, where is Zaituni? Because I knew she had been the treasurer for North Rift at some point, but she was kicked out by this Kinadavji in that sham.
Okay.
They kicked her out
because
she was asking tough questions. Her
to the
and
team,
Darwin.
yeah.
You see. So her, Darwin and Mkuche were kicked out because of the tough questions they were asking. You see. So Darwin told me Zaituni ako Kitale na akanitumia namba ya Zaituni. 0718. For a while I hadn't even saved it. We used to talk, so I texted her, I need us to meet, I need to tell you my vision for the union, and I'm hoping that she initially even was like
very skeptical about it.
Very skeptical. Yeah. But anyway, I went to Kitale. I went all the way to Kitale. I met her at Kitale. There's a members club in Kitale town, and we spoke at length, and she had essentially decided to wash her hands. Sema basi hii union yenu mmeamua mnataka ikuwe mismanaged, it's okay, me I'll just do my own things. Unaona? Nikamwambia no, because she was very worried that she knows these guys are not very nice people. Unaona? Nikamwambia no, you see, good people or nice people or well-meaning people, let me say that, well-meaning people should organize just as well and as properly as the people we think are not well-meaning.
Very true.
You understand? We have to do that. So that's how I got Zaituni on board. And then Wendy, I met him now through Maero, because I was also told that she's quite competent. Bosibori, we've been friends for a long time. Darwin, we've also been friends for a while, since the 2021 elections.
Okay.
We've been talking. When he was kicked out, of course, he came and confided in me and found a bit of solace. I helped him to settle and understand that there's always next time.
Oh, for sure.
There's no problem. So basically, that's how Mkuche, I met him in Coast when I went for the Coast trip. Someone gave me his name and told me, talk to Mkuche. He's very vibrant at the Coast. He's a bit, occasionally can become unhinged, but by and large, he's quite vocal and he's bold. He's willing to stand up for something. And so I went, after finishing my Mombasa, now from Kwale, as I was going up, I passed through, what is the name of this hospital? The name disappear. But yeah, that's where he works.
Okay.
So I met him. Tukaongea, kani brief about history of the union. But then Mkuche is not young. He was here when the union was being founded in 2010. He was already a professional.
Okay.
Yes.
That's nice. Interesting.
Yeah. And actually all these people that I'm listing are not young people. Zaituni was, I think, right from 2012, 2013. He was already a unionist.
Okay.
You see, Maero has been a unionist for
a period of quite some
very
time.
long time. Wendy also.
Yeah.
You see, and Wendy actually also coming from the private sector.
Yeah.
She'll be very instrumental in bringing the private sector on board.
Yeah.
You see, Darwin has been a unionist for a very long time. In fact, watu wanamuitanga ule jamaa wa Manuel. Unaona? Yeah. So, as far as the team is concerned, the team is very competent. They are experienced. They have been in the union long enough. You see, and they have integrity. This is a team that I can assure you. Let me tell you, even as we are just planning for the elections, just as we are meeting in these meetings we do, the kind of accountability that is being expected of me by each of them. Like there's a day I shared a message and wrote their progress team, and Wendy asked me, "No, we have not discussed this particular thing."
Okay.
Yes. Not that she disagrees with it, but her concern was, why am I sharing it as a message for progress team and we have not discussed it?
We have not discussed it.
You understand?
Makes sense.
Yeah. And that
nothing
really
should
is
be
the
left
kind
out
of leadership that you want.
Yeah.
You want people who will ask those tough questions.
No, because now you are
push
the
back.
Secretary General, and
Yeah.
apparently every decision you make.
Yes. Yeah, we cannot have a union that's run by an individual.
Nah,
Hatutaki koti
it
hapa.
doesn't make sense.
You understand?
Yeah.
Yeah, we are a union of professionals.
Yeah.
We all have a brain.
Yeah.
We can't just be driven by one person's brain.
Nice. Nice.
So, yeah,
I wish you well, man.
Thank you.
That was a nice time to have conversation.
I know today I've not talked much about my agenda except the unemployment. Because for me is a primary thing.
Yeah.
Of course, there are those other things on my agenda. Those ones guys I'll talk to them as we go. The other times when I will have occasion to talk to those issues.
Okay.
Yeah.
So valid to the valid voters out here, and no, this one I'm gonna give you like 30 seconds. How will success look like for you?
Success will start with a campaign that is going to inform. That is, by the time I finish this campaign period, I want members to know what the union is about. Okay?
Yeah.
For me, if I don't win anything, I want members to know what the union is about.
Okay.
I want members to understand the union.
Okay.
But ultimately, success will be if in the next 5 years,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
we do not have this unemployment crisis.
Okay.
Yeah. And that, in my view, will be achieved through unity, solidarity, and being true to what is right.
True.
To us.
Yeah.
Being true to what is right. Because if we play around with what is right and what is wrong, not everybody will just play along.
Okay.
And that weakens us as we go on.
Thank you, man. It was nice having you on board, and I'm happy that finally we had this conversation.
Thank you.
Yeah. I wish you all the best, you and your team, to the last minute. Say hi to everyone, man. Say hi to Maero. I think we have conversations with Maero. To every other, union member and everything else, as you're going back to campaign and all that. We hope we'll have this conversation again.
Ita those branch members, wakuje, those branch officials,
Yeah.
wakuje kwa ikiti.
We are going
Waite wakuje,
We are going to.
wakuambie how the union has been.
We are going to have a conversation.
Yeah.
Right now, at least we have freedom. We have the main reason why we were not having an episode. It ought to have been here by last week. But the main reason was because, we didn't have our own equipments and here.
Yeah.
But you see, leo nimekuchokesha sana bana.
No, it's okay.
With a microphone.
Nilikuwa nimeingia kwa conversation sana.
You didn't even notice.
Yeah.
So we can have conversations anytime, any day. When we have the muscles, we'll be moving from county to county. So we are hoping for the best.
So all the best. I hope this grows to become those informative platforms that we can even talk about ourselves to the world.
I can promise you. Sawa sawa, daktari. Thank you. Cheers, man.